All right, guys. Ready? Can you give a huge round of applause, everybody? Please give a huge round of applause for Ralph Macchio and William Zabka! Woo! Now, you guys, we are going to do a crowd shot. You guys stand right up here. Stand right here on the X. Yes. We're going to do a crowd shot. Come on up here. Ralph, come on up here. We'll do a crowd shot. Pull out your phones. Everybody pull out your phone. Pull out your phone. Turn on the flashlight. On the count of 3, we are going to go nuts. Ready? 1, 2, 3! Welcome, welcome, welcome. There you go, perfect. Grab a seat right there, guys.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to Salt Lake.
Thank you.
Now, you've been here to FanX. Both of you guys have been here before. Welcome back. You guys are fan favorites. We're so happy to have you guys back.
Thank you.
The fans absolutely adore you guys here. Don't you guys adore them? So when we first started, this is our 10-year anniversary at FanX, and I had one of my very first panels I ever moderated was with Ralph, and then a few years later, you and I moderated a panel together, Billy, and people always ask me, they're like, well, what was it like? What's it like? Are they both as amazing in person? And I'm like, you guys, you can't tell, they smell amazing, they are amazing, they're awesome. So we're happy to have you guys here.
Awesome, thank you.
We're going to go into some questions. We have some questions here, but we're going to keep our questions kind of generic and just go through that. So let's go right there. Our first question.
Besides an actor, what would you guys like to be?
Oh, wow. As cool as you, first of all. Nice costume.
Thank you.
Oh, man, I guess as a kid, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball pitcher that just, struck out the side in the 9th inning, and that was my sort of fantasy dream. Then I started throwing a baseball and realized that was only a dream. Maybe a great chef. I don't know, I'm coming up with this stuff. What about you, William?
Well, if I wasn't an actor, I'd be trying to be an actor. So if I wasn't already an actor, I'd try to figure out a way to become an actor, and if that wasn't working out, I'd be taking acting classes. But for real, I play guitar, so like that's my other passion. I didn't really ever go out to, thank you. I wish I had a guitar with me. I could actually do that. There's not much we can do up here because of the strike and all, but yeah, I'd be in a band probably, yeah, for sure. Or a doctor. A doctor might have been one. Yeah, I was either doctor or actor. It was like.
Do you prefer steel strings or nylon strings?
I do. I like steel strings.
Steel strings.
Yeah, I do. I like acoustic. I had acoustic electric, 12-string Ovation, and the Takamine, and then also I guess Les Paul. Electric, which I love. My son's playing. My son's 14, and he's getting really heavy into rock and roll, into playing the guitar. It's awesome. And my daughter's 9. She's playing the violin. So we got a little musical thing going on at the house.
Lots of strings.
Yeah. All right, our next question right there.
Okay. Which one of you two do you think would win in a fight?
Have you been watching? Oh. I was going to say, you've been watching. We would never do it. The only way it works for us is if somebody choreographs it for us.
That's right.
I think if we actually got in a fight, neither one of us would know what to do.
We'd have no idea.
Freeze, stare at each other, and say, now what?
All right, next question.
All right, so my question is, would you rather share your bed with one very large, quiet elephant or 6 obnoxious seagulls?
I've been thinking about that.
Wow. And what was the adjective for the seals? What type of seal? I know
Obnoxious seagulls.
Seagulls. I thought it was seals. Oh, that changes the whole thing. Oh, I was thinking seals and elephants, so seagulls.
Seagull.
I would probably deal with the elephant.
Yeah.
One-on-one. Mono e mammoth.
Yes, same. I mean, how do you pass up on that opportunity?
This is why FanX is so good.
But that's a great question.
Isn't it a great question?
That could be the greatest panel question we've ever
That
got.
was probably one of the greatest.
Good job. Go ahead,
right.
man.
I was wondering what your favorite karate move you've done is.
Say that again.
Your favorite karate move that you've learned?
Creative.
You ever done any karate moves?
Well, I know it's so fast. Can't really tell. My favorite karate move. Oh wow. You know, I don't know.
The
Like
one
that?
I don't get hit with. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's the favorite karate move?
I took jiu-jitsu when I was 12, so I remember it.
Yeah. I like kicks. I like ground kicks.
Excellent. All right, our next question. Go ahead.
What advice do you have for people going into the business?
Right now, I wouldn't do it.
Since there is none.
Big strike. Terrible place.
Oh, never give up, follow your heart, believe in your passion, tell stories, be creative. You could do that whether or not you make a living at it or not. So it's always there, so don't stifle your opportunities.
Yeah. Dream big. Anything can happen. That's the bottom line. If you have I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in films, and it just seemed like no way. That's just another world. There's like a veil. Like I met, when I was a kid, I met like Chuck Norris and Clint Eastwood. Some young, I was like, they're just bigger than life. Like that'll never happen. It actually can happen. But you got to follow your dream and your passion. And everybody, there's no two roads the same. No map is the same to get you there. So if it's in you and you practice and you love your art, it can turn into a job. And if you're lucky, it can turn into a career. And if you're lucky, that's all you'll do. But you have to love it to stick with this. We've been doing this, at least 10 years, Ralph. I've been doing this since I was, I've been doing this for 40 years. That's a long time.
He's only 32.
And there's no turning back. Well, yeah, and I'm only 32. Yeah, so a year before I was born, I started. So it's a long commitment. It's a long road, and you really have to love it. But you know what? Do plays, make some videos on your camera, and look for local opportunities. Find some friends that have the same passion, and do it. And you never know. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Did either of you ever improvise any lines?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so what
and the improvisation often happens during rehearsals, whether you're in the school play or in a movie or a television show on the stage, and then on the day when you're actually, filming, sometimes the freshest happy accidents happen in the moment. And acting is at its best often when you're reacting to what's really happening, not only what's being written. So in those cases, improvisation really adds other layers and colors to the character. And then sometimes it doesn't, and no one ever sees it.
Typically, I think in comedy there's more room for improv.
I agree.
I think like in drama, mostly there's a writer who's pretty serious about what he wrote, and they want you to say those words, but then there's an atmosphere, there's a scene where it's lighter, or you know, I mean, if it's even as dramatic, you can go there too.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I think in dramatic stuff, if something gets
Yeah.
you're heated and something comes to mind based on a reaction, it doesn't always have to be comedy, but comedy is sort of fertile ground for improvisation.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Great
I
question.
think, and I think most of it's found in, well, I don't know, sometimes rehearsals. Depends on the director and the show you're on. Sometimes if you're with certain directors that the script is the Bible and,
Yeah, right.
and you make it work, you know. Some people use improv as a crutch because they don't really understand what they're saying, so it's like they'll add this and this and this. So make sure before you improvise that you nail what was intended from the writer. And when you get that part done and you know, then you can maybe add some sprinkles on that.
Excellent.
Good question. Good question. So far, everybody gets a thumbs up.
All right. Okay.
As somebody who's been a fan since the 1980s, I just want to say that you have inspired myself and my family a lot, and I want to know what got you interested in acting.
For me, first of all, thank you. It's a two-way street, and that's what's so great about these types of events and getting to meet all of you folks is that we get to hear the stories where maybe years back, you know, actors didn't get to hear from the fan base. So it's really awesome, and I certainly appreciate that. For me, I wanted to be Gene Kelly as a little kid. I used to watch the old musicals on television with my mom after school, and I was just fascinated with how he tap danced and moved and sang and was, you know, handsome and athletic. And I was like, oh, that's a good way to be. And I just wanted to do that, so I started taking tap dance lessons, and you know, that's my love of the footlights happened, and enjoyed telling stories through dance and then in school plays and things like that, and that's how I got bit by the bug.
I was, let's see, for me, it was kind of I was always a ham, I think. I was a ham funny kid, did a lot of characters. It was kind of a hobby for me. I did commercials. I did a lot of plays in high school, a lot of drama. I loved acting. But I never really, I don't know, I didn't set out like, I'm going to be an actor one day. I thought, if anything, I'd be a filmmaker, which I am as well, and director, and that was more of a storyteller. But I don't know, my dad was in the business. My dad worked with a lot of people, so I was exposed to it. When I was a kid, I was around a lot of movie making and the magic of movies and all of that. I knew from like the time I was a kid, probably 5 years old, that somehow I was going to be involved in movie making and television. So it was kind of a slow thing. But I guess also too, like, you know, sometimes it's a long road for your dreams to happen, and you don't want to like say, oh, I want to be saying I wanted to be an actor was too hard. So I was like, I'll just flirt with it, and then it worked out, you know.
Do you guys remember the first time you guys met each other? The very first time you guys actually met?
When we met each other, Ralph and I?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We met in a parking lot at...
Yep, at the Warner Brothers, well, it was actually it was the Burbank Studios, it was called at the time, and it was Warner Brothers and Columbia Pictures within the back, and that's the first time we met auditioning together. So...
Well, you had the part.
Ralph, I did have the part.
He was auditioning the Johnnies, so there was a few Johnnies left in the callback circuit, and I was one of them, and... he doesn't remember me because he was so busy and he had so many people. But I remember him because he was Johnny and the Outsiders. It was like I was the wow, this is Ralph Macchio. It was, you know, and we had the scene. It was a scene that was cut out of. Oh, are we allowed to? Am I going into?
No, you're going way too far. Way too far.
We met in a parking lot.
There you go. All right, next question.
Where most people meet.
I have a backup question.
I did write a book, I'll say this much, and this whole story is in that book. So I can't tell you the title of the book. I actually probably could. But anyway, so look up Macchio book if you want. You're going to hear that whole story almost from both our perspectives. Okay.
Okay, I have a backup question just in case this one doesn't take, but I'm a big fan of the No More Kings
video, and I was just wondering what the process was behind coming up with that and who thought of it.
You're good, because it's not a struck company. You're
Exactly.
Yeah. It's great. A great artist named Pete Mitchell from the band No More Kings, who's just a really creative songwriter. You should look him up. Like lots of fun and imagination. And he wrote the song called "Sweep the Leg." And
Now that you can't say. No,
I can say "Sweep the Leg." Sweep the. A leg comes down and knocks me off my chair, and I get dragged out. You've crossed the line. Back to the hotel. So the band came to me, and they through a label that they were on, and a friend, and they asked me to be in the music video. And I honestly heard the song and wanted to jump out of my skin. Sweep the Leg. It was like Karate Kid. The movie was a long time ago. Anyway, after listening to it, I liked the guys. I liked the song. I said, if you let me be, creatively in kind of control of it, direct it and write it, I'll try to get everybody I can back and do it right. You should check it out if you haven't seen it on YouTube. It's a lot of fun.
and to add to that, so then Billy called me and said, would you be interested in being involved in this in some way? And I was kind of like pumping the brakes a little bit. I didn't know exactly what it was going to turn out to be. I was like kind of cautious about it, and I didn't know of his work as a filmmaker. And we hadn't spoken. I mean, we'd run into each other, but it was, a long while since we spent as much time as we certainly do now. And so I said, well, we cut it together and, send it to me when you have it at a certain place, and then we could talk further. He sent me the rough cut of this thing, and I was like, all in. It was so good, so much fun, and it turned out to what he creatively came up with and sort of pitched to me, and how he kind of became the button on the end of the video. It probably turned out better than if I just jumped in and did it before seeing how it turned out. So, things sometimes work out that way, and certainly when you're surrounded with talented people. But it is a lot of fun. You guys should check it out.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next question.
Ralph, I love the beard.
What? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying.
It's great.
I just went through puberty, and it took forever.
It finally happened. Let's give him an applause.
Been growing this for 50 years. But thanks. Yeah, I'm toying around with it with the work stoppages. It gives me a chance to. I'm starting to grow the hair out and just see how it looks. Maybe in the future we'll find some roles that it makes sense for. But thanks. I'm glad you like it.
Keep it going. My question is, what is the craziest role or the craziest idea that anyone has ever pitched to you?
Was it about the Elephant and the Six Seagulls?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it.
it.
That was it.
That's it. Saved.
Well done. Well done. It's a tough one because we have so many.
That's a hard one.
We have so
you
many.
can imagine.
Step in.
Just imagine the worst thing you've ever imagined about something that could be pitched to either one of us, and it was worse than that. Use your imagination. Come up with a really bad story, and then it was worse than that.
Love the T-shirt. Hey, look, Johnny Lawrence.
I know. I'm waiting for a fight to break out right here.
My question is, what was your favorite subject in school and why?
Good question.
Good question.
Lunch and gym. No.
Wow. It's a great question. How old are you? How old are you?
13, he
13.
said. I liked, I'm going to all these like secondary courses that are kind of like the electives that are not the hardcore: social studies, English, math. Certainly wasn't math. Certainly wasn't social studies. There are times English I liked. I'm talking of the core curriculum here, because it was storytelling and imagination, and so the birth of my interest in that and understanding characters, and sort of led into what I do, what we do. So that, and then there was a theater arts course, which is the kind of half-assed answer to it, but I loved that because that was, you know, not only acting work, but it was also understanding, you know, writing, understanding performance, understanding character breakdowns and things like that. And I really loved gym. I did, even though I wasn't the greatest athlete. But, and lunch. Go ahead, William.
I like trigonometry, physics.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Those are the things I gravitated towards.
AP courses only?
No, the AP course, the honor courses, yes. When I went to Harvard when I was 8 years old, it was very difficult to, you probably don't know that about me, that's what gave me all this free time to act.
I even learned today.
Honestly, you know, it depended on honestly, the real answer is it depended on the teacher. Because there was years where it wasn't the subject, it was who was teaching it. And history in 8th grade for me, like, I loved history. I had the coolest teacher, and he used to bring his dog to class. He had this German Shepherd, and I'll never forget him. And he made it so creative and imaginative, and some great English teachers. Math is a hard one because it's hard. You know, math wasn't my favorite thing, and it was just, you know. So I think that's a trick to present that to a way to make it like. But math is like a language. Like I took Spanish, and that was another one. Great Spanish teachers, that was fun. But math is a language, and it really needs to be taught right. But go for it. I don't know why I keep coming with math. It's just that seems to be like a one you got to push through. Like, oh man, you know. I remember being in geometry, and the teacher said, "Zabka, prove this is a square." And I'm like, why do I have to prove it's a square? We know it's a square. Let's do something with it. Let's build a house. Like that's what I literally would say. You know, but there's a reason why you needed to know why that was a square, and somebody needed to teach me why that was important. So I think it's about the teacher. But for me, it was English, and I love drama. I like Metal Shop. We had some fun in Metal Shop. You know, made some got these long things we put in the fire, pokers in the fire, and we got to heat them up, and you know, so it's about that, and it's about a good teacher for me. And drama was fun. So.
Excellent.
I can tell you the teachers. I remember the teachers. That's, I guess, the bottom line.
No, that's a great point.
You know what I mean?
That's
it's not the
point.
subject. Like I could point to like 5 teachers in my life that stuck with me and made a really big impact. So, you know, honor your teachers.
Awesome.
Make them feel good. They're doing a lot of work. They're busting hard to teach you. Give them your attention, your respect. That's for real. You know, I can go on and on. I have a 14-year-old son. I talk about this every single night. This is like bedtime talk, and a 9-year-old daughter. It's like, Dad, why do I have to go to school? I'm never going to use half of this stuff. I'm like, well, you don't know that, you know. But all right, I've talked to him. Meet me after class.
If you invented a new karate move, what would it be called?
The totally legal kick.
Okay, mine would just be, can't touch this.
Excellent.
No can offense.
I'm really proud. We have questions up here just in case. We haven't had to use any of these questions. They're asking fantastic questions. So you guys are doing great. Okay, continue on.
Fans are doing great.
What is your guys' personal favorite catchphrases?
Personal favorite.
Come back. Catchphrases.
I'm running a few in my mind.
I don't know. That's a good one. What's your favorite? Give us your favorite catchphrase. Give me a favorite catchphrase.
Deflection.
No, I just want to get inspired. It's a hard question, isn't it? If you can invent a karate move, what would you call it? What's your favorite subject?
Math. Math is my favorite subject.
Good. If you can invent a karate move, what's your karate move? No, let her go.
I would probably call it the Warriors kick.
That's great. What's your name?
Well done.
Texas Myers.
Texas Myers? Everybody give a hand to Texas Myers.
There you go.
favorite activity to do at a birthday party?
Wait, say that again? What was that? One more time?
Activity to do at a birthday party.
I still didn't hear it.
What's your favorite activity to do at a birthday party?
Bounce house.
Yeah.
Or a water slide, a big water slide.
Yeah, not pin the tail on the donkey, although I've won it many, many times looking through the thing. Musical chairs is just the most brutal game in the world for kids. What'd you say, bounce house, the slide?
Bounce house, yeah.
Yeah. Ping pong, I don't know why I said that. I'm a tennis fan. Go ahead.
My question is, what is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you while acting?
Good question. It's gotta be.
Can you answer that question?
No, he could answer that question because funniest thing. It's happening right now.
Oh, I can't even remember it. You know what? I'll tell you what. Well, we did a scene together once that was we couldn't stop laughing. But we can't really talk about that.
Yes, you can.
We can?
We just don't.
Yeah, we just don't say what show it was. But we were at a Mexican restaurant having chips.
We were in a restaurant scene with two terrific actresses, and we started the giggles like kindergarten kids, like milk coming out the nose, kind of laughing. It went on, and I was determined not to join the trio and go down that path.
It went from one girl to the other girl to me.
Yeah.
And then it was really.
There was a certain word
so
that said
yes.
that started the joke.
Right.
It started the laugh, like just a word that is just a ridiculous word. And that word was called dojo, which you can say.
Dojo.
And just the concept of the word, it even sounded wrong every time it was said, and it started this laughter, and I withheld as long as I could, and then I was gone. And I was the weakest and the worst, and it was literally to the point that the crew and the showrunners were coming and saying, "Guys, seriously now."
They had to shut down, and they had to let us go walk around outside to get the laughs out.
Had to literally
it took
come
like
in
a
like
half
it was a
hour to
different
40
day.
minutes. No kidding. It was really fun. They're like, "Guys, this is," and it was uncontrollable. It wasn't even. It was like there was nothing you could do. It wasn't like we wanted to laugh. It hit that funny spot, and it was just giggles. And
it was
but
embarrassing and hilarious.
And it came out of nowhere. It was so funny. It really was. I wish they would show that if they even have that somewhere. Okay, good question.
Thank you.
What was it like growing up in your hometown?
Growing up in my hometown I grew up on Long Island, New York. I say on Long Island, some people say in Long Island. It's an ongoing battle, but I call it on Long Island. And it was, sort of middle class suburbia, not super neighborhoody, but you knew your neighbors, but it wasn't like a town where like there was the general store, everyone hung out here. It was kind of spread out. My parents are still there. And so it's home, that's all I got.
I lived a block away from him and didn't even know it. No, actually, funny enough, I'm from Long Island too. I was born in New York City, but I moved to Long Island, and my childhood was before I moved to California. When I was like 10 and a half, 11, just turned 11. I had so many kids. We had this great place. I lived on Bayside Avenue, and there was just every house had kids, and the next block had kids, and there was a duck pond and a mill pond and a bay at the front. And every day we come home and just play like tackle football, and there's good and great names like Johnny Olson, Jay McCormick, Brian Cunningham, all these crazy, Peach Cunningham, Owen Cunningham, Gene Cook, Johnny Olson, Jimmy Olson. They're still some of my great friends today. And we were just little kids. When I moved, I remember taking my go-kart across the street to Johnny Olson's house and knocking on his screen door and going, "Hey, pal, I'm moving to California. I want to give you my go-kart." And he comes out and he goes, "Okay." And we shook like that. And we're still friends. He texted me. He goes, "Hey, a buddy of mine." So that was like for my childhood, there's like great memories. We had so much fun. And we used to play this game called Munchkin Land, where all the kids that were like under 16, well, kids are under teenagers were the munchkins, and we'd have to go run and hide in the neighborhood somewhere, in the trees, in the woods, or whatever. And all the big kids were like the giants, and they would go around, they would find us and wrangle us up. And they'd be physical. They'd grab us, they'd throw us in bushes, and they would drag us to our backyard where I had a shed, and it was our fort, and that would be our jail. And then they'd have wiffle bats wrapped with this big styrofoam, and if you wanted to escape, you got out and they beat you up. But it was so fun. It was like childhood, like at its best. And we'd be like digging and hiding in dirt trenches, and they'd pick you up and they'd, throw you. But it was all in fun and love and stuff. It was a great childhood, man. Then I moved to California, and that was
Kind of reminds me of a movie.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was called Munchie. Yeah. Then I moved to California, and I was a fish out of water. I was like a New York kid, and I talked like that, and I showed up my first day of school with the chain guard bike and the big handlebars like that, and the flag, and everybody in California had the knobby tires and the motocross handlebars and the cool California hair and stuff. And I totally didn't fit in, like my first day of school. And I pull up, but I made friends pretty fast. But I'm like, the first day after school, I'm like, Mom, I got to get rid of these handlebars and my banana seat. Those banana seats?
Banana seat.
I got to get rid of this. The kids all have these little small things. I don't know how they sit on them, but I got to get one of those. And then here's the last thing. Then I go, this is my introduction to California. Behind my house was a place called Hidden Hills, and there's these big old rolling kind of grass hills. And there's a thing called the Soup Bowl, which is this jump. So all the kids in the neighborhood would go up to the top of this hill on their dirt bikes and go down and hit this Soup Bowl. It was like basically going down dirt, and then it would come up, and they were just doing all these hot dog stuff. I'm from New York. I never did this in my life. So I'm the last guy in line. All these kids are going down. I'm trying to fit in. I got my handlebars like this.
Streamers on there.
I swear to you, I went straight down. I went in like this and went straight up. And then I completely endoed like that, and my whole fender went, and my whole bike collapsed on me. And I ended up pushing it home, and that's when I'm like, I need a new bike. I need a California bike. And that's what you get for asking me about my childhood.
All right, next question.
Hi, my name's Kylie. I wanted to ask you both, what is your favorite things to do on a normal, average day when you're not working?
Come to Comic-Cons. Average normal day, right? Go ahead, Ralph. I talked too much already.
How do I top that? Stuff that I like to do in the on an average, normal, non-working day. I like really good espresso in the morning. Probably whatever music I'm into at that time, I'll have that playing. Right now, for some reason, I'm listening to Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life, which I haven't listened to in a while. And it's still an amazing album, so go out and listen to that. I enjoy going to movies because we haven't gotten to do it much lately because there aren't many good ones. So we're hoping that changes. Great food, trying different foods, different regions, different cuisines. Glass of wine here or there, if it's good, and only if it's good. And being with my family, really, my wife and kids, that's the core. We call ourselves the core four, and it's really what it's all about. As I get younger and younger and younger, it's more and more important. So that's it. And going to Comic-Con.
All right, this is going to be our last question right here.
So my question is, if you could see any two music artists, dead or alive, retired or active, collaborate, who would it be?
Dead or alive wow.
So sorry.
No, it's okay. Dead or alive to collaborate together?
Yeah. Any two.
Wow. These are brain teasers. There's so many.
I'd like to see what John Lennon and Paul McCartney can do.
Yeah. See if they could create any hits. Oh, man.
It's a good question.
I'm saying right now, because one was inspired by the other, and it's just, there's a million answers.
I would like to see NSYNC and BTS try to pull something together.
And I'll go old school. I'd love to see Bruce Springsteen and Elvis Presley.
What about you? Since you asked, I know you have to have a...
First of all, my last name is Presley, just FYI.
I knew that.
Seriously. Mine would be Lindsey Sterling and Nightwish.
Good call, good call. Good question, Cobra Kai.
Great question.
Ooh, shoot.
You guys-
I just read a t-shirt, don't get mad.
Can you give a huge round of applause, everybody? This has been so fun. Thank you for answering these amazing questions. You guys have been great sports. One more time, guys, give a huge round of applause. And just so you know, right after this panel, you guys can go get a photo op with them. You guys go to their panel and get an autograph with them. If you scan this right up there, the QR code, you can get a photo op with them. One more time, give a huge round of applause, everybody. Oh, wait, we can do better than that. Turn your flashlights on, guys. Turn your flashlights on. On the count of 3, we're going to do this again. Ready? We're going to go nuts on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! All right, guys, give me a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, guys.